Just wanted to point out the information we provide today is of a general advice. If you do want some more information, please seek some professional advice.
Well, welcome to the Retirement Living Your Way podcast, and I'd like to welcome to the microphone the Tiger team, the A team. It is Troy Theobald from RFS Advice and Greg Black.
He's obviously seen me play golf, Greg. So.
Oh, well, I've got nothing, so I'm not sure.
Oh, dear.
It's not pretty.
I haven't played in 5 years, so there you go. Mine's probably going to go backwards.
Yeah, no. and talking about golf, it's probably a good segue to the topic we want to talk about today, which is not our normal topic. You know, we don't want to talk about facts and financial markets and superannuation and pensions and things like that because, yes, they're important. But today we really wanted to have a bit of a deep dive into the importance of health and well-being, which is a little bit flowery and a little bit softer than what we'd normally do. But in our world, it's something that we genuinely do care about. And when we're talking to clients through their retirement, and obviously this is part of the retirement ebook that we've created at RFS Advice, and this is one of the topics, we really wanted to dig deeper and actually have a relationship with our clients and help them live their best life.
Absolutely.
So I think that's really, really important. And, people often say health is wealth. And I think staying healthy, as healthy as possible, will certainly allow people to actually enjoy and live their best life through retirement. I'm interested and excited about today because I get to ask Troy, when we talk about health and well-being, Troy's a very, very busy man, as most people could appreciate. He does not stop. I can certainly vouch for that. I work with him all the time, every day, and he's a bit of a machine. What do you do, Troy, to stay healthy and have a well balanced and your own well-being?
I have been known to do the odd step or two for the day. So, my wife and I might walk from Broadbeach Waters all the way down to Nobby's Beach and back after dinner, most nights of the week.
So some would say that's more than a step or two. That's probably around about 12
to 15 Ks, depending on the loop we do. So it's,
I think I've even seen you doing a lap or two around Pacific Fair.
Colin has seen my wife and I walking around Pacific Fair. It was raining, so when it's raining we do laps of pack there, and he has caught us out on that one, yes.
Now, Colin, should I ask you what you do for your health and well-being?
Look, it's walking as well. I do like a good bushwalk as well as a bit of a bike ride, but I like to do a lot more. Every now and again I get a paddleball game in, and that's quite enjoyable as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I'm a bit of a fan of all this sort of topic, which as Troy's laughing at me now as I'm saying,
come on, hang on.
Wow, I'm glad you asked. Wow, fancy that.
I know what the answer is going to be, so I wasn't going to ask. My steps look bad.
No. So look, I'm sort of running between 40 to 50 kilometres a week. At the gym 3 or 4 times a week, and I've got into.
He's put us all to shame.
No, it doesn't show.
Yes.
But and also I hate to admit it, I'm now on the road bike, so I'm one of those mammals, those middle-aged men in lycra. So just doing that, but I'm just trying to keep fit with my 15-year-old son. That's probably the one of the drivers for that.
Yeah, nice way to do it too.
Yeah,
it'll be funny when we later on go. Yeah, we all think we're bulletproof and 15 years old, but anyway.
Yeah,
I'm sure that will come up later on in the podcast.
That's right.
So Troy, we're looking at retirement planning with clients that come into RFS Advice. How quickly do you find this topic comes up?
Some want to avoid it, some don't. But look, I did find some boring statistics. Surprise, surprise.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, look, a male in their 65 is expected to live in the mid-80s and ladies into their late 80s. So statistically, we want to plan for that and be able to live to those ages and be able to have, enough wealth to do what you want to do. The other really interesting stat was looking at older Australians. 80% of those 65 and older have at least one chronic health issue. So the goal isn't to be perfect here. It's to manage these proactively and stay independent and be your best. So if we look at that, Aussie males, proactive, probably doesn't resonate.
No.
I'll put my hand up. We have a golf crew where we call ourselves the Naga crew. One of the guys got really passionate. Put your hand up. Who's had a skin check? He had a melanoma issue. Everyone put their hand up. Who hasn't? Because he didn't like the answer. I put my hand up. Hadn't had one at the time. Rang me next day. Troy, you need to go do this.
Yep.
Yeah. 2 days. Have you booked? Oh, mate, I'll go in. Anyway, I went in. Didn't have a melanoma, but there was 3. The doctor's like, we'll keep an eye on these over the next year or 2. I went, what's the alternate? I could just cut them out. I said, mate, why wouldn't we do that? I'm not that pretty. I do have a head for radio.
Mm-hmm.
And I did ask him that. How many people choose not to just cut the damn thing out.
Yes.
He went, you'd be surprised. And I went, okay. So
Wow.
I can't tell. There's one on the shin and my shoulder. I wouldn't even know where it was now.
Yeah.
But it's that now I have the regular skin, tick the boxes. What am I meant to have and when? Because those things can just sneak up on you.
They can.
And people, they walk in my door every day. They only get cancer once, one day.
Yep.
And that changes their life. And they walk in the door, and I know in that meeting, because they walk in and it's a totally different scenario.
It is. It's a scary situation, and I do it yearly just for the fact that it's affected my family. And not wanting to bring the tone of the conversation down, but my aunt had a melanoma on her one of her toes, so I think it might have been the middle one, was removed. 15 years later, the cancer came back,
Yeah, wow.
and she passed away from it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things I think in our environment we always need to be on.
Spot
but
on.
there are many other topics that we need to be about.
Key number one, stay on top of medical checkup.
Sure.
Who knew? And it is. Aussie male, I think females are great. We do have a ladies Let's Talk, and we've got our female advisors. Ladies seem wonderful out. We had one of the local gyms. They were putting out a lovely segment there, used our boardroom, had people in. Ladies are talking about all this health and all this wonderful stuff. Oh, blokes, probably not. I reckon if we did that, I'm not sure how many would turn up.
I exercise. I'm chairman of the Sculling Club. Look, it's a funny topic, isn't it? And again, I suppose one of the things for me is that what do you want to do in retirement? I'd like to rebuild a car. I'd like to go on a holiday. I'd like to climb that mountain. I'd like to go and visit some family that I've never seen in Norway. And as much as all of the topics we're talking about impact those wonderful dreams you've got, this is a big one.
There's no point having all the money set aside and not the ability to do it.
And that's a key point.
They go hand in hand, and unfortunately there. So if I love skiing. So for me, it's always every year if I want to go skiing, it's doing the preparation. It's no different to doing the finances and the budget. I just see that as, all right, there's a certain level that fitness needs to get to. I could be like Greg and have it there all the time, or I could like the rest of society, in which case we ebb and flow around this at different times, and we make sure by the time we get there we're in the best shape we can. A bit like the other, we can't predict what's going to happen, but you can certainly prepare for it, and that's the attitude is how do we prepare for it, and it's having those conversations. So if people are talking about this life dream of going and doing things, and that has to be part of the conversation.
Absolutely, it does. Yes,
and the finances can fit in because people, I don't want to join the gym. It's $20 a week, but I want to go on the $40,000 trip and go and climb the mountain and whatever. Well, the $20 a week's going to allow you to do it.
Look, and the point sorry, Greg. It's a timeline from birth to death, isn't it? And we get through our adolescence, 21, you're bulletproof, you can do anything, eat anything, drink anything, and nothing's going to affect you. And then you get through life, you're working and so forth, and we hope nothing goes wrong. But more than likely, in our retirement, something's going to happen to us, or multiple things are going to happen to us. And as much as we like to think we're 10 foot tall and bulletproof, it's about having a plan.
Absolutely.
And I think the thing is, one of the things that we do at RFS is actually have deeper conversations about these sorts of topics. Because as Troy mentioned, there's no point, you can have all the money in the world, but if you're not healthy enough, and there's two parts, and I think this is where it gets captured in that well-being piece. There's the physical health, making sure you stay on top of things, making sure you're getting your regular checkups and the like. But there's also the mental health aspect of it as well, because I think they both feed off each other.
Yes.
And to your point, if something adverse happens and all of a sudden it sort of knocks you for six, having the headspace to be able to bounce back from that,
yes.
I think you're in a much better position if you've got the other side of it all under control.
And some of our bigger issues, especially working here at a radio station, we do get a good look at the temperature of the community and the mental health of the community. And I would say, look, COVID's passed, and we actually thought that was going to be a really bad time for the mental health, especially of the 50 plus. We're finding right now, we can see the level of anxiety in the text messages or the emails or those sort of conversations. And you don't know what the catalyst is for that. Maybe it's the harder times. Maybe it is because people are a little concerned about their retirement, but it is making sure you've got a security blanket, someone to talk to, someone to hold your hand. And walking through these key topics, it's not about just my financial health. It's about my physical health and having people to talk to and friends to go and have a cup of tea with. and making sure that that entire package is taken care of.
Oh, absolutely. And that mental health, it's just becoming bigger and bigger area. I mean, it's pretty sad when Greg and I are sharing meditation apps and things with each other. It's it's quite sad. Really.
When you talk about normal males, like we mustn't fit in that category. We track out, we compare our sleep scores, our heart rate variability, all these things. But to me, it's this is life's a marathon.
It is.
It's let's get the basics right, and it's consistency, it's habit, those sorts of things. I think that gives us the best chance.
And I think
over
once
the
you
long term.
recognise and know that. So yes, he surprised. I'm thinking he was part of the team that did buy this Garmin for me. So now I'm a little bit more suspicious. But, but you look at this sleep score and you think, oh, what's all that? I have no idea what half this HRV and thing. I go, Greg, what's this? But I can see it's bad or down, and you go, oh, I might have had 3, 4, 5 beers last night, which could be 5 or 6. All of a sudden you look how bad your sleep score was, and this is, and you think, and you stress, and why was I stressed? It's just your body dealing with this, and you think, oh, it would have been handy to know 20 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you think of things you did in your 30s and your 40s through there, and you're going, oh, okay, there's probably things I could have done a little differently. Now, you can't go back and change time, but once you're aware from that point forward, and I think that's a lot of it, that's where technology can help embrace those things that,
yes.
You're sitting there with those scenarios going, the little watch for me is buzzing away. I just go steps. If I can get the steps, I know it keeps my weight under control, it keeps all those things. So I focus on that. Other people might focus on other things. Now I've got the steps under control. It's like, I do so many steps to where I used to have my active minutes, which used to be great. Now I'm begrudgingly, I don't want to say it out loud.
I want you to say this.
I'm having to start jogging to get my heart rate up enough to get those active. Otherwise, I'm not getting active minutes because I'm walking.
Right.
The other day I'm talking to Graham, I'm walking flat out and my heart's not going enough that I'm not even getting active minutes.
And I'm like, you can run.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So,
Look, it's interesting. One of the points of view that I heard recently was it's about making sure you can get to those joy moments, whether that is the grandchildren's birthday or whether that is the trip down the track or whether that is something that you're looking forward to. And again, it's just having a plan on all of these things. You might not like going to the gym, but when you go out and play golf, you walk the course instead of pop in the buggy. It's having a plan.
Yeah, and it's when you have those moments in life where something does go wrong.
Yes.
I think that's when you realise, wow, this could end at any particular time. So I think that's when people, that's when often people actually get a bit more focused with it.
Yes.
I think that's something that...
because, if you're not on top of all this and you're not actually, taking care of yourself, if you are the decision maker in the household, where Colin was sort of talking about before, off air with this, that's the person the couple's relied on. So it does then flow into that financial and the decision making and everything as well. So it has a much larger...
Look, the impacts are huge.
Yeah.
And not only just on your mental health, but your relationships around you and where you're going and what you're doing. And it is also your point of view on life.
Yeah.
So obviously we've got in the retirement toolkit, I guess, a couple of the key steps as part of that. And for those that would like a copy, just reach out to us at rfsadvice.com and we'll make sure you have a copy. Troy, what sort of steps do you sort of walk clients through? What are the things that you're talking to clients about that you just sort of, really not non-negotiables, what are some of the basics you sort of raise with clients?
Yeah, I mean, it's getting a routine.
Yep.
And that's really the key of, you see people come through the working life, they didn't really have to think about it too much. The job was this. They probably got enough steps. They're wandering around. They're out and about. All of a sudden, there's no work days or weekends. They're just days.
Yes.
All right, I need to go looking for a routine. I have to, and a healthy routine. So, those steps, and for me, that came off the back of COVID. I wasn't always doing the million steps. That was a positive scenario, came off the back of that, and I've just tried to keep that up now. So it's how can you find some positive routines to get into, and whether, we've got so many people out playing pickleball. That's going to have so many people more active. It's probably caused a lot of injuries too, by the sound. Because people go from 0 to 100% thinking they're chasing their 15-year-old son.
Oh, dear. One of our announcers has just ruptured Achilles playing pickleball. But again, she recognises that she may have overextended herself.
Yeah.
Very competitive.
I'm not throwing stones. I think I was in my 20s where, you wake up and we're at a hospital. Okay, I was playing touch football, wasn't I? Oh, no, I wasn't. Well, look at my legs all black. So, that's the end of that career.
Yes. So we've done adopt a physical activity or a routine, eating well and staying hydrated.
Yeah, and other things, there's plenty of senior health perks out there. So My Aged Care website, there's council websites, there's lots of community interaction that we can get out there and get into those. There's park runs on a...
Saturday morning, 7 o'clock.
There you
Sorry.
go. I've seen those signs.
That's right, I have too.
You should do
There
it.
was a marathon last weekend, wasn't there, somewhere?
There was. Plenty of people out and about. But it's just getting engaged in life, getting out there. That mindfulness, that's something I've sort of found this year. There's a Smiling Minds app that I really have enjoyed this year and embraced in there. It's just methods when you're busy and people are bringing in different complex situations. It's just, 5 minutes is all you got to find.
Yeah.
Shut the door, press the thing, breathe, bit of whatever. At the end of that's like, oh, okay. And you're so much more productive, if nothing else, off the back end of it, rather than just being noise and constantly reacting to what the next problem is and coming in the door.
And that's a good point, because there are lots of apps that are
Absolutely.
available, and a lot of them are free of charge,
Yeah.
that really can assist you through a lot of these topics we're talking about today.
And at the back of the ebook, we've got all of the links as well. To all of
Nice.
those, which is really handy. Look, there's plenty of reading material out there. There's a book my wife recommended out there, The Science and Art of Longevity, and that's really around where you need to be at certain age levels. So,
Yeah, and I read that book. Troy sent it through to me, and he said, "Oh, my wife thought this would be great," so I read it, and I think I messaged him about halfway through and said, I'm depressed, I'm scared. And he goes, why? And I said, it's like all about the four Kingsmen. Yeah. And I think I've had 3 of the 4. Where does that leave me? And fortunately, the back half of the book actually starts talking about lifestyle and the way you live and exercise and nutrition. And to your point about like hydration, making sure you're getting enough water.
Yeah.
And a couple of the key ones was around, obviously, exercise.
Yes.
That's important. Hydration.
Yes.
Obviously. And that's that sort of...
It's not a beer
liters.
at 5 o'clock,
that's
by the way.
That's H2O, yep, on itself, by itself. It's also around sleep.
Yes.
And then the other interesting one that they said was very good as you get a bit older is weight training or resistance training.
Yes,
so it's not going and lifting weights per se, or it is, but it's not the typical gym. It's just lifting certain weights, body weights, because that helps with your stability. It'll actually prevent falls down the track.
Yep.
And then the other part is they were saying that a lot of the consumption of protein as people get older,
Correct.
we need to actually make sure that we eat more
increase
protein.
more.
And you've got episodes on, or talk shows on 4CRB
Yes.
with all of that, but they were some of the takeouts. So by putting the book down, I was actually a little bit happier than what I was at halfway through. So it's a good
my
read.
top tip you've just reminded me, take the damn rug off the floor.
Oh, that's a
That
ripper.
tripping hazard.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I can picture my client down there and had that chat. Oh, I trip on it all the time. Had a fall. Now it's hanging on the wall. Too late.
Yeah.
We needed it before we have that fall. So
Yep.
rugs are lovely, but gee, they look safer on a wall than they do on the ground if they're going to curl up and trip you over.
That's right, they do. they do indeed. So I've nearly tripped on a few rugs myself trying to get up in the middle of the night, but yes, I can see how that could be an issue down the track. Glass tables, they're another one, completely glass see-through tables. I've seen a few issues down that road as well. But great information. Going back to the glass of water.
Yes.
Also a positive outlook. Glass is half full as opposed to glass is half empty. That is an amazing attitude to have, and it's amazing to see the differences in people's viewpoints and their quality of life when they do focus on all of those things and then tie it up with a positive outlook.
Absolutely. And from our point of view, when we have clients coming in to talk about their financial affairs, they're often emotionally stressed, they're uncertain, there's this fear. Spending 60 minutes with Troy or one of the team, just have an initial conversation.
Yes.
All of a sudden, there's just clarity, and they're just calm. It's amazing the difference that it makes. So I know this is a slightly different topic, but it is amazing. It just all feeds off itself.
Look, I think we talk about a plan in many of these topics, and you can't predict or anything in life, but you can plan for them. The plan gives you the confidence to think it's under control. I know what I need to do next, and I know what to expect here, and I know what to do now. Now, it doesn't matter whether you're talking finance or you're talking nutrition or you're talking lifestyle or you're talking about going overseas and having a wonderful holiday. If it's planned out, there's no stress or strain involved. It's that security blanket that we keep talking about.
And just on that, it's when we talk about having a look at it, the one thing I can recommend is don't go down the Google path with a lot of these sorts of things, when you're looking at some of this, because, speaking from experience, I had an issue and I went onto Google and I found all the issues that it could be, and it's amazing. I went and saw the surgeon, I saw the specialist. They set the record straight. They said, here's the issue, this is how we resolve it, bang, we move on, and the clarity that provided, which is no different than when someone comes in, they Google all these things online, they go down all these rabbit holes where they could just spend time dealing with a professional, someone that knows what they are, an expert in their field.
Correct.
Puts everything at peace of mind.
Yes, I often find Dr. Google, if you want to talk to him about Dr. Google, or even if you want to refer to him as a family member, as some people do nowadays, I often find in certain circumstances it's just like talking to solicitors. They deal in the worst case scenario. It's happening right now, and that's all they want to talk about. So does Dr. Google.
Absolutely. So look, I think that's been a healthy conversation, no pun intended. Yeah. But really, this is really one part of the Australian Retirement Toolkit that we've provided or produced at RFS Advice. Obviously, this one, there's a number of other topics for those. If you want to search through the other lists as they come out, we've covered areas such as financial planning and security, housing and living arrangements, legal and administrative essentials, social purpose and social life and purpose, happiness and lifestyle mindset, technology and safety, home care and aged care, which is obviously a very big one for many of our clients, creating a legacy and passing down family wealth, which obviously as people get a little bit, they've either got more wealth and getting to that later stage, that becomes a real issue for them. How actually we're going to pass that wealth through to the family. Philanthropic or charity work, and I know here at the station, a lot of, it's a community
it's the
station.
Lifeblood of the station. That's exactly who and what we are.
And you see the benefits that you can provide to those people coming in from a community aspect. And last but not least, which is travel and adventure. So all those topics will be featured throughout this podcast over the series.
I can just picture people putting on the shoes now, putting the earpods, AirPods, whatever we call them, in the ears and off down the road, walking now with a bit of inspiration, listening away. Just watch left and right when you cross the road.
Oh, please.
That's the one. Watch out for the Teslas. They just creep up on you. All right. RFSadvice.com if you would like a copy of that toolkit. You don't have to wait for all of these wonderful little chats to come out. You can read about them right there on the web. There is a icon, there is an emblem on the front page.
Correct.
All you do is click on that, fill in a few details, and you will be emailed the link. Thank you very much for your time again.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. I'm going to
go for a run now.